Bonjour, bonjour. Comment ça va? Je suis Cotalia Benson, monumentos de la livre Renudu, de la Cour Imperial Monumentos de la Livre. I am Queen Cotalia, the Hoodoo Queen. Bienvenue, c'est mon cher. Welcome to my channel for this Conjure South After Dark situation here. I do want to ask Tech, is my speaker on for when I bring in people to join me? Tonight we are going to be having the discussion of hoodoo shadow work. I've heard this term flooding the internet now, probably for like 2 years. And the audio is really choppy, is what the people are saying. Oh. That may be because my sorry, that is on IG. Is it clear now? Is it any clearer now? I was having some issues today with my headphones. Now I know on um YouTube I should be good. Um Hoodoo and shadow work question mark? Yes. Um so I just want to ask everyone here on IG if you can hear me well. Now there was a piece of paper laying on the top of the situation. Good evening, Queen. Do we need to grab our shadow work journals? I mean, um, I go to YouTube. I can hear it just sounds fuzzy. Okay, so that's just my headphones. I would encourage you to go to YouTube. That way you can hear it very clearly. Okay. So anyway, so I'm super excited to have this conversation. Um, because I know that there are many individuals um, that do in fact have um, this whole thing about shadow work and the shadow work journal. Um, I've already asked Tech because I don't know if my speaker is on, because I'm very interested in hearing y'all's experience when it comes to this shadow work thing, because this shadow work situations are all very new. But anyways, before we get deeply into that conversation, I do want to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, leave a sweet, kind comment below. Please hit your notification and post notification button, please, and share the video, please. So, yes, I was wondering if this speaker was on. In what? Where did you say that? I didn't see it. Okay. All right. Thank you. Oh, I see. Yeah. All right. So super excited to get deeply into this conversation. Now, in the return of the first Spellcast podcast, you're going to see that we're going to be discussing the importance of understanding that magic can't fix everything. Okay? Magic can't fix everything. Magic isn't going to fix everything. Is not going to happen. And well, Miss Boone, after you finish, um, there's something wrong with the speaker, unfortunately, here on IG. So I would encourage all of my Instagram people to go to YouTube. So in fact, I'm just going to end on IG so there's no issues. Okay. So I will see IG all very soon. Yes, go to YouTube. All right. So yeah, so after this particular after this conversation, are the VIP tickets sold out? Okay, so I guess I need to mention that as well. Well, I didn't want to do this tonight. I I don't think I am. Anyways, tomorrow you will see me tomorrow morning. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Many of the VIP tickets have been sold. Um, there's and honestly, I'm not going to say that because I don't know. Some of you may or may not have joined us for the working ritual weekend, which was just this weekend. So this is like my fall magical retreat, my hoodoo summer camp. I cannot express to you the the magic of this weekend. Point blank period. There's no if, ands, or buts about it. I can't really, I'll have to show you guys. I will have to show you. We did take some footage. Um, it was everything. But so we have that. VIP tickets are sold. There is in fact a coupon if you are interested in the VIP. Um there are yes. So 25% off of the Conjure Fat tickets right now. Um don't miss out is all I can say. Don't miss out on those VIP tickets. And also please remember that you absolutely can get you can make those payments in 4 payments. Okay? Um Gabriel said he got the VIP tickets because the Conjure Fit speaks to my whole ancestral ancestry in one clip. I mean, it truly does. I mean, and so many people of color don't understand that this Conjure Fit will speak to every aspect of you. And I'm going to say this and then we're going to get right into the conversation. But my grandma told me, she said, this is how she worded it, but do not miss your blessings on the banks of the river when your blessings could be coming in on the shores of the ocean. Meaning, you have to be open to receiving your blessings in every from all directions in order to be blessed in every way. But more importantly, understanding that you cannot dismiss one part of your blood and expect to access all of your magic. You cannot dismiss one part of your blood and expect to receive all of the guidance that you're supposed to have. Um so yes. Oh no, I missed it. I would love that. I would love to come. Baby, we're not in New Orleans. This is straight up Mobile. Mobile, Alabama, through and through. The originator. No ever duplicator. So this was the capital of Louisiana before New Orleans was even thought of. This is my first live with you. I found your page maybe a few weeks ago and I started my ancestral journey. I hesitated to watch due to the social media, but boy, I'm glad I listened to my intuition. I am happy that you did as well. You're going to get a lot when it comes to this. And I'm very honest, which is the um listen, come on, yes, Mobile baby, yes. See a lot of green for the people in the back. I'm just being honest. People really don't know that. Like Mobile was the capital of Louisiana. And and honestly, New Orleans, everything that you Creoles started here because this was the port. Um Vodun, Ifa is all here in Mobile. Is the port was not as big as New Orleans once New Orleans became New Orleans. But that's the truth, as well as participate in that on that magical weekend. Yes. So yeah, this weekend though was next level. I mean, Super. We may get some people to come in. Oh no, you're fine. You are okay. My apologies. Correct me. It's fine. It's called education, my love. It's only education. But a lot of people do immediately think South and go Louisiana. You don't know hoodoo until you've reached Alabama. You don't know it. I guarantee you. And it's always the spaces that are so like that you don't hear about. Alabama, Arkansas, even Tennessee as well. Like a lot of people really don't know, but it's because a lot of people really is no back and forth. It's not the parading and the exploitation of it all. Oh no, we get down in Bama Town. Okay. Um and that's just how it goes. Hello, impressive magic. So yes, I want to get into this conversation of I do want to mention this though. I will be live tomorrow morning so we can get back to our sunrise readings. I know the last week of every month is my pre-recorded week. Well, this past weekend, this last week was the pre-recorded week with all of the videos. Um yes, a lot of hoodoo history in Memphis. It really is. I've been in Mobile. That part is fantastic. Yes. Um, yes, educate me, Queen. I'm here for it. All love and respect. Merci, honor and respect to you as well. It goes both ways. It goes absolutely both ways. And so, what was I just saying? So, yes, I'll be back tomorrow morning for the sunrise readings. The last week of every month is my pre-recorded week where I see Charleston has that juju. Now you're dealing with the Gullah Geechee. Now you're dealing with the Juju. You're dealing with the Igbo. You're dealing with that Yoruba. That's what you got there. Okay. Hello, Jessica. Hello, hello, hello. And so I'll be back tomorrow morning for the sunrise readings. I um I will do some more promotion for the Conjure Fete. Also, the Working Ritual Weekend people got a chance to see the new home of the 2024 Hoodoo Queen Conjure Fete. Yes, I lived in Sacramento, California, and there is no hoodoo spaces that I'm aware of. Plus a lot of things were lost in my family due to Christianity, but it's only been a week and I've learned so much. Well, I will tell you though, you say there's nothing in Sacramento, California. My dear, if there's black people, there's hoodoo. It may not look like it, it may not quite sound like it, but it's there. People in Sacramento, California came from the South. They were not they were not the ships didn't go around the Atlantic, the Gulf, and then go into the Pacific to drop black people off. The Great Migration took hoodoo from Alabama to California. Now, because of that distance and because of that time and physical distance, a lot of the traditions and the wording and the terminology, yes, it absolutely was a disconnection. Things became disconnected. But the fact that you hold that blood, understand that you will find a variety of things. For example, you may have heard one of your grandparents say, baby, make sure you burn your hair. Okay, burn your hair. See, that's one of those customs of ours. It may not be pure magic, but it's a custom. It is a traditional custom. Okay, my baby, I'm gonna just hit that obituary and you go place it in there in Psalms 90 and 91. You may have a grandparent that put all the obituaries in Psalms. Pardon, in doing so to elevate those spirits. So no, they may have not put the candles out. They may have not spent X amount of days, but they put those obituaries, those photographs in the Bible to elevate those spirits. Or you will see where they have names written out and they stick them in there to heal them with different prayers. Now, I will tell you the Bible is new in hoodoo. It is not a foundation in hoodoo. You do not need the Bible. The Bible is not necessary. The Bible is a tool that was added. after enslavement. Um, Good evening, Queen. Good evening. Our family, for some reason, take a picture of everyone in the casket. I don't know, but they do. We do the same. We do the same. I was raised in a Delta myself, Clark side. In Charleston, they bury the hair too. Yeah. You don't want nobody to have your hair. I was told that burning your hair wasn't good. Somebody lied to you, Miss Boone. I'm just sitting here with all my babies, and I no, you need to burn your hair, because if someone gets your hair, they gets your head. If they get your head, they can get your plant, they can get your ori, depending on your lineage, what you're practicing, what you're living, your path. But most importantly, they can control your life, all aspects of your life, your mind, your eyes, your ears, and your mouth, the way you think. So that's why you burn your hair. You don't throw your hair out of a window, because if you throw it out of a window and a bird takes it, you will go crazy. So no, you supposed to burn your hair. That is a custom that you supposed to do. You burn it. You don't want nobody to have it. Nobody. Yes. And I will tell anyone that is here too. If you are here, you see we have a couple of people in the house. Raleigh, Got It Butterfly, um, Brandy Hawkins, Ginny, a variety of individuals have these little badges by their names. That's because they are a part of either the Conjure South the virtual coven here, or they're part of the Spellcast podcast. So please make sure, if you're interested in getting some of these nuances, details, and personal information towards your particular spell work, do so. Also, remember that you can always visit conjuresouth.com for all of your traditional hoodoo, obia, and grigri products, only made by recipes by the elders of my lineage, only, period. We don't mass produce. If it's not done by my family's recipe, it's not done. Hello, Edie. Plucked me up for about 4 months. Is it cool to flush hair? I wouldn't, but I'm certain you can. I have so much to ask about. Yeah, so yeah, get into the coven. So, anyways, everybody, let's get into this conversation tonight about hoodoo, shadow work, and just shadow work in general. Now, again, this whole term of there's so many terms nowadays that are being utilized that are just very much aligning with and mm, I gotta come politically correct when it comes to some of these things. Here's the reality: there's a lot of Western Eurocentric ideologies that have been taken by people of color and make them Black representing to appeal to our people, because people think because you're skin folk, you're kin folk, and you can trust that. And you find that with the terms like shadow work and um, cord cutting, um, soul ties, and all the all these things. Even the idea of manifestation and the law of attraction and all of these things. And um and so I know that I've been seeing a lot of information, or a lot of sponsored videos, let me say that, a lot of sponsored videos about this shadow work, shadow journal, and all of these things. And I just did a podcast that we need to go ahead and release this podcast. Actually, it is about how magic doesn't fix everything, and there's a lot of people that do this. Unfortunately, a lot of people are looking for personal development. Many individuals know that they can profit from your pain. that they can thrive from your trauma. In addition to understanding that right now, everybody or a lot of people want to become connected to some capacity with their ancestors. And so they will suit it up as hoodoo, um, your hoodoo life coach. You gotta have your shadow journal, your shadow work. They even go to tell you that if you don't do your shadow work, you can't access magic. You know, if you don't heal yourself, you cannot do X, Y, and Z. All of this is beyond incorrect. All of this is complete BS when it comes to actual magic. When I had my in the podcast that you all will hear very soon, you will hear where I am talking very clearly to the point of you can magic doesn't fix everything. Magic doesn't help everything. And you really, really do yourself a disservice by dressing therapy up as shadow work and magic. So, from my understanding, I have heard because I'm gonna just put it to you like this, and this may look, I guess, trigger warning, trigger warning. I think that's what people say now. I'm gonna say some things that may sound a little aggressive, maybe. It's not aggressive, it's just the truth. But I understand that a lot of times when people start mentioning truth, it seems like bullying or attack, or you're trying to whatever. No, I'm just giving it to you as it is. None of your grandparents, I can just about say this, none of your grandparents ever communicated their childhood past traumas. And some of these grandparents, elders, etc., were workers. They didn't have to do any shadow work. They were living in the worst of the world, the worst times, being in fact, enslavement, not freedom posing as or vice versa. Thank you so very much for the super stickers, and you also can provide super stickers and super chats if you find value in this conversation. And I'm going to bring some of you guys on because I'm very interested to hear your take, your opinions, um your experiences with this shadow work journal, and even just so for me to ask some questions. But you didn't hear about this stuff, about this. I is something wrong, is something wrong, is something wrong. And so from my understanding, this journal really, or this notebook or this guide, is truly a book of open-ended questions. For example, what is a good life? Look in the mirror and tell me, what is a good life? Or why does happiness come to some and not to all? Why is it so hard to learn from mistakes? So you're getting these open ended questions. Who's answering the questions? Who's giving you the answers? The book is not giving you the answers. The book is solely just giving you questions. I did see a particular post of the book, and this was a point that said mirror work, and then use the term mirror gazing. And this is where, again, you use terms, magical terms, to grasp people who were looking for magic and expecting if I don't do this, then I can't do that. Well, here's the real thing. Mirror gazing is water gazing. These are some magical terms. You don't have to look. This is my thing. If you're going to be honest, be honest. You don't have to. You don't have to use magical terms for therapy unless you have an agenda or motive. Everybody out here want to do magic. Everybody want to be about energies and vibrations. Let me get them. Mirror gazing. Let's talk about mirror gazing, mirror work. No, my dear, that is solely just called reflecting and assessing. And so here's the thing about it. This is what it said. Noticing that, here we go, mirror work. Noticing that you, as you look into the mirror, you may be noticing that you are ashamed of some things, fearful and doubtful of some things. There's issues, there's problems that you recognize. And then it turns around to say, recognize these things for the beauty that you have been given and that you are. So you've brought up all of this negative or seemingly negative things just to turn around and go, I'm not the problem. This is perfectly fine. I am who I am. And if you don't like it, too bad. If you don't like it, then there's your problem, not my problem. Yet you pose and claim and testify as elevated, conscious, releasing the ego. That's very self-serving. Recognize the mess and accept it because it's not your problem, it's somebody else's. Let me read you the shadow work doesn't even make you dig deep in the ugly. I got ugly with my therapist. All the ugly came out and it was like throwing up. Um, I've only heard of shadow therapy, but it was around the concept of ego and the super ego, but not the sense in that it is now. It's coined by Carl Jung or Jung. So, um, that is something that, so here's my thing. No, I'm not going to continue on right now. I want to bring some people in very quickly. So anyone that wants to join me, I would love to just based off of what I've said thus far. I have some other points that I want to. If you have the shadow work journal, you've been doing it, you've seen some um things have been revealed and things have been unpacked or whatever. I would love to hear your experience um in regards to this. And then I'm going to continue on just to see if um, a form of psychotherapy. I always get Fred and June, Juge, Junge mixed up. That's the issue here. Taking concepts from psychoanalysis and trying to graft them onto hoodoo and take black people's money. Young, I guess it's pronounced young. Then I guess merci, thank you. Yes, and so it is his space of literally taking this psychotherapist and psychoanalysis and therapy and these things and then stamping hoodoo and candles and oils and things surrounding them and selling it um into the community, um and selling it right into the community, you know. And um and and that is a huge issue. Shadow work started out as healing your inner child, to heal the wounds of your past. But since it's become a trend on TikTok, it just got in the way. So I want to definitely communicate even to that part. Okay. I want to communicate to that part. Everybody's inner child does not need to be healed. Every child did not have a bad experience. You may have been brought up in a culture that you don't agree with as an adult. That doesn't make it traumatic. That does not make it trauma. It does not make it um some type of diabolical initiative to get you and to put you out or whatever. Much honor, Queen. Good evening. Hello, Zan Johnson. So, yes. So, Christophe and Zakia, where are you, and where do you sit in the space of um the shadow work journal, and also we're in a little bit we're gonna talk about even a spiritual component to this.
Hi, Queen. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well, thank you.
Awesome, perfect. Um, so my chosen sister, she's not my blood sister, my chosen sister, um, she goes to school for psychology. She's working in ABA. So because of that, I do have an insight in what psychology and what therapy would truly look like. And because when I first started the spiritual journey, and the first deck of cards was an oracle set, but it was based on shadow work. So I have a little insight in shadow work as well, but I don't actively practice it now. But having insight into both, I can definitely say shadow work, it may be therapeutic, but it is not therapy. It may be psychological, it may deal with the psyche or trigger the psyche or help you delve into it, but it definitely is not psychology. But what I noticed about shadow work, it definitely used a lot of therapy jargon and a lot of the terminology to bait people and draw them in. But again, with the insight that I have from my chosen sister who is educated in this and actively working in it, it's definitely not therapy. And it's more so just a way of what you were saying about open ended questions.
Mhm.
It's a very biased thing to do because you're the one answering those questions.
And that is one of my points that I wanted to bring up here is um is that point of who is answering the questions. You're answering the questions, and that is in itself a problem. Why? Because your truth may not be the truth. The way you perceive something based off of your biases, your emotions, if you are emotionally triggered with things and heightened or angry or whatever else at something, or maybe you have a mental, a neurodivergent, um, you may be neurodivergent. Your perception and your answers are not the truth. It is a part of your reality, but it does not make it the truth. And so, for this reason, what solutions have you gotten? None. Um, and I thank you for that, Zakia. We need to just there
Hello,
we go.
hello.
Don't you?
Can you hear me? Oh, okay, perfect. Hello. um, first I just want to say I do like the aspect that you brought in about it being self-serving. that goes into my point of how a lot of people, in my opinion, might even come to this work. And especially if you don't have access directly to a therapist, like what Christopher was saying, whether it's financial, you may have certain beliefs on it, don't feel comfortable, but you know something's not right. You know, you're in real life, things are happening and you can't explain it. So you do your self search and you start looking up things, and you realize that you have thoughts of how you want to express yourself, but you don't have the language to do so. And I think a lot of these new terms that have been, coming around, even with manifest, shadow work, cord cutting, like what you were saying, these help to like describe what you may be feeling, but it's aligned with also just knowing a little bit of the information. It's like this isn't even psychology 101. This is, when you just go to the meeting and they start talking about topics. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what you have to follow up with is actual, guided advice, like what you're talking about. But the part when you were talking about how you see a lot of skin folk that's not kinfolk because they regurgitate what they said, it's easy to get caught up in that, because when you see someone, especially if you're doing a search online instead of maybe, reading a therapist book or something like that, you'll hear someone in the way that, their public speaking is, the way that they, engage, you feel as though they may have some kind of mastery on this topic. And so you'll be willing to say, okay, I know I need help. This is more accessible, and it's how can you say, a modern approach to it as well. So I think a lot of times just those are some of the reasons why you might find a person gravitating towards that, because they don't know where else to go and they need some kind of help.
Mm-hmm. And I think, I'm glad that you mentioned that in that um respected position, because I mentioned this a lot of times. There is there are a lot of people with buku knowledge and will die starving for wisdom. Because today you can go on Google, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, whatever it is, to find information, education, knowledge. But I always tell people knowledge is not the power. You have to ask the question, who is facilitating that knowledge and where they get their knowledge from? Because you're going to be only as wise, smart, educated, or knowledgeable as your facilitator. So I ask myself, who the hell is this author to this shadow work journal? Who are they and who are they to ask these questions? And this is what I also have to communicate in regards to this. And this is going to be one of those wig snatching statements. This individual, and I don't know him or her from Adam's House Cat, but I think it's a him. I don't know how they identify. So them. Um, that's another whole conversation. Y'all would probably just run me over in a truck if we got on that whole situation because I can't keep up. And so the thing is, when it comes to this is the individual that does not know you from Adam's House Cat. And this individual is providing these general questions for the complexity of your trauma, possibly if you have had a traumatic experience. Just as surface level as these questions are, will in fact be your reality, your reflection. So even when you talk about mirror work, when you look in the mirror, it is a surface level, surface understanding of self. It's surface level. That's not even dissecting the source. That's not dissecting the issue. So yes, what you're looking at is the side effects. Baggy eyes, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I'm over it. Those are side effects to what possibly could be clinical depression. But then the shadow book could probably tell you, well, you're depressed. And that's my other thing. Here's a whole nother situation. I I am late to the party. Blame it on the wolf. Oh goodness. Okay now, Jennifer. Hold on. I do want to get a lot of and I want to get some of these comments. Some people can't handle the deep dive in themselves, especially if it was something so tremendously violent. They have a mental breakdown and can't always recover in a healthy manner. But that's why you need to have an advisor, a guide, someone that can help you there if that's where you want to go, because you got to have the will to want the help, and to get the help. My aunt keep telling me I was a warrior for the Lord, but my back is broke, so I'm a warrior for so this warrior's back is broke. Oh my goodness. People took shadow work, aka buzzword, because it sounded witchy. That part. Pink diamond. You that's the thing. Shadow work, mystery, the shadow side of you, the dark side of you. So when I first heard of shadow work, I'm thinking, what in the black magic is happening here? And then I start hearing more people talk about it, and I was like, oh no, it's about reflecting into your deeper self and knowing the dark side of you. And it's like, first and foremost, my question is, and this goes into another point that I'm going to make. What makes your pain the dark side? Why is that dark? What makes that dark? No, it makes it painful. It may make it traumatic, but when I hear the term dark, when I speak to the word the dark side of you, it's like, what is this diabolical, evil, angry? Because that's not what I'm getting. What I'm hearing people saying is I need to heal. And then, and then that's another part, is understanding right now on social media in general, it's very self-serving, right, left, up, down, side to side. It's also a space and time where we live in where everyone has to be a part of some marginalized community. Oh, I have these triggers too, and so I can sympathize with you. I feel your no, you don't, and you can't. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. I take that back. I am not sorry. I'm not apologetic with what I'm about to say. But because you um ended up growing up in a Christian church and you have been demonized because you decided to stretch and call it yoga, is not the same as a black woman who has lost every son that she's had solely because of the color of his skin. Your trauma, your your disapproval of your upbringing is not the same as his actual traumatic, historical traumatic issue and problem that is being had. Um, well, I was forced to eat these particular foods growing up, and it's just was very below vibrational, and it was just very traumatic to me. And now I struggle with having sugar. That is not the same as an individual that is systematically um in poverty for another situation. And so they're literally having to steal and still not being able to eat the things you got to eat. Is not the same. you know and so, but right now it's like everybody wants to be a part of this. I'm hurt too. I'm hurt too. So you have the I'm hurt aspect of it. I'm hurting, I'm triggered. But then you have the other side of the industry of multiple people of multiple shades, it doesn't even matter, that are going every time you click on Instagram. I know you're going through pain. I know you're hurt. I know your edges are weak. I know, whatever the situation may be. You get on Facebook, it's okay. I understand that you haven't been loved and you haven't been this and you haven't been that and da 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 da. Here's the other part. You're not where you want to be right now, but understand this da 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 da. It Every time you click on social media, there is somebody speaking fear, doubt, worry, brokenness, abuse, trauma, pain onto you. And for whatever reason, we're like, uh-huh, yeah, you talking to me. Oh, yes. Oh, I'm going to say this and it may piss some people off, but it's the truth. A lot of you are trying to heal in your life from things that were never harmed. A lot of people are out here trying to heal that inner child who wasn't harmed. But what should be done is, hey, look, you had a great upbringing. You had a wonderful upbringing, but there is maturity that still needs to happen. That's not healing, that's called building. I am building on this foundation, not having to heal this foundation. Some people have to heal their foundation because it is broken. That is different than building on your foundation. So, for example, me, I had a great childhood, wonderful childhood. In fact, I think it was quite perfect, if I had to say so myself, including the fact that my parents didn't argue, fuss, fight, nor did my grandparents. Now, they did not do that. So, because of that, it did not teach me solution and conflict or a resolution and conflict or whatever, how that goes. That's not me having to heal my inner child and my past childhood traumas. That's me having to mature and recognize, baby, arguments happen, disagreements happen, and finding solutions to that is also part of that personal development. So there's so many people that are really trying, like, I'm trying to heal, and I'm struggling because there's nothing to heal from. You need to build from your foundation. But you got this journal making you look into spaces you're trying to find this shadow space. um but then again, also, like someone mentioned, like, using the term shadow work and mirror gazing, a lot of these witchy, it's like psychoanalysis, psychiatric terms and actual magical terms mixed into one as a life coach guide, essentially. The way the internet makes me confused. If I went through pain or did I go through trauma, you don't know. But what it does tell you is you are the victim. Is making a lot of victims is what I'm seeing. It's victim vibing is what I call it. Victim vibing and trauma bonding. You're a victim. I'm a victim. She's a victim. They a victim. Victim, victim. Everybody can be a victim. And so then it goes back into, if I'm the victim, then it's I'm the victim. I am hurt. I have been done wrong. This is my trigger. That is my trigger. To me, that sounds very self-serving, very egotistical. Um, Holy water is not traditional hoodoo. No. Um, Joanna says, we don't have enough Black therapists, psychologists, and psychiatrists in our medical field. I work in a psych unit and I've seen the mistreatment towards Black patients from doctors. Welcome to America. Um, we don't. I mean, you can go to the local Piggly Wiggly, and you're gonna get the same thing. You're gonna get, that's unfortunately this is. Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother conversation I want to have too about this heavy activism right now towards the things that's going on in the world. My question is, who is your activist when you're in danger? Is my only question. The same post you're posting, are these the same individuals that's coming to your rescue? It's just an open-ended question sticking in a hoodoo shadow book. Um, I'm just wondering, um, what's the difference between pain and trauma? Well, to me, I think pain can be traumatic. Not all pain is traumatic, but pain can be traumatic. Is it? And I also would say trauma, like you can have a traumatic experience that can cause some triggers, perhaps. But then I think there are people that have gone through like traumatic lives, like childhoods, multiple years of abuse, and it has shaped everything, the way you look at things, speak about things, respond to people and situations. You know, in my opinion, now mind you, I'm no psychiatrist, but I am the hoodoo queen. So I'm just going to go ahead and write a book, and I'll give you open-ended questions and answer nothing. Um, so I feel like some. Yes, Christoph, did you have something to say?
Oh yeah. So I was just going to add on what you were saying. Well, the differences between pain and trauma. So, in my opinion, I really feel like the key difference is really going to be the extent. Like, it's one thing to get into an argument and someone says something hurtful, and you're mad about it for like a day or so. It's another thing to grow up every day in an abusive household, every day for for the 18 years or whenever, however long it takes you to move out of that household. That leaves more so of an imprint, something that is a little bit more long lasting, and also it definitely is going to affect your day to day interaction with people, and then of course the interaction with yourself. So I think the key difference between pain and trauma is definitely going to be the extent.
Yeah, I agree. I think the extent and like I guess maybe to add on to that or to reiterate or position a little bit differently, the extent of the pain, but also how it shapes your day to day. Like you said, someone hurts your feelings. It was a painful moment, but when those painful moments has been a long time, the extent of that pain has now changed the way you're speaking to people, dealing with people, handling relationships, working, all of those things. Now we have a traumatic experience. But again, this is just an open conversation here with people. Trauma is something we relive and bury. It's usually something that causes long-term effects. Voila. So I think we're all saying the same thing in different ways, which is good. I think we're all at a um common they're right about 64, 61. I don't know what this is. Y'all have to let me know about these numbers. Y'all know the math, gotta be mathing. Y'all just put numbers up here now. Um, we have Giovanna, it helped because she really understood when I told why I was tired. A white therapist would just have understood what I was saying. And that's another thing too, because a lot of people don't understand the point of empathy and sympathy. I can sympathize with you because I understand what you're saying, but only people that can empathize with you who have and can feel what you're feeling. There's a difference, which is why a lot of people think they're empaths and they're not. But anyways, another video there. Um, But I also want to mention this as well. And this is another big point that I think a lot of people need to begin to understand and to respect. Every hoodoo life coach, spiritual life coach in general, I won't say every, a lot of even therapists. And I will say this, I am not discrediting therapy at all. There are 646 people who need a mental health professional per professional. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Hmm. That's a thought. So here's the other thing. For every therapist, life coach, shadow coach, or whatever, what I'm recognizing is this, and even social media as a life coach, because clearly that's where the real answers are in this fake ass world. Purchase my VIP ticket just now. I gotta go find a babysitter for a freaking frack. I'm gonna have to bring some of y'all on here in a second so y'all can talk a little bit about this past weekend, if you would be so kind. Yes, they work my nerves with the wanting everyone to be empathetic at work, but some people can't empathize with everything, and that's a true thing. Like, yes, you understand that this is a painful situation, but un- let me not say that. All right. So, anyways, getting back, yes, Zakia.
I just wanted to add to what you were saying with the comments. I feel like a lot of people are just looking to belong. There's a lack of connectivity. And so getting caught up into these like groups where, it's a feel good kind of, energy, or, it's like uplifting and stuff like that. It's always trying to bring people together. Granted, there's manipulation for the industry on the back end, but a lot of times people are just looking at, oh, okay, like you said, you're going through this too. Me too. Me too. We could talk about it, because they don't have no one to talk to about it in real life, or
Hmm.
they're not as vulnerable in real life as they may be, you know, what is it? Uninhibited online under a
Hmm.
false name and like a blank photo, profile photo. And it's like, it just makes you wonder, what are people doing on a day-to-day basis? Like, how are people, staying grounded within themselves if it's just so easy to get reeled in by, like how you said, all of these things to make you a victim. It's like, it's very easy to manipulate somebody.
Hmm. Without a doubt. And to that point, I want to go to the next thing that I have here, which is you have these groups that's saying this is your trigger. These are your triggers. Some therapists, again, they understand but can't empathize. So here are your triggers. Here are the things that send you there. Your shadow work journal. Here are your triggers. Here are the things that make you feel this kind of way or whatever. Just because you can acknowledge a trigger does not give you the solution to not being triggered. And if the solution is because you know what your trigger is, you can walk away or you should turn away from it. If that's what the solution is, it's not solving anything at all, not even remotely, not even a little bit. Just because you recognize this makes me feel this kind of way does not fix the reason you feel that way. So, who's providing solutions? Who's providing answers? Because what I'm seeing is just this constant self serving social media groups that are just continuously, like I said, victim vibing and trauma bonding, just enabling each other to be victims and that everyone else is the problem, or I'm not the problem because I look at my flaws and that's the beauty that I was born within. What is that? What is that? So my thing is, here's my thing, and I think I love how, like, I think Christoph said it as well, which is there are some things that are that are therapeutic but not therapy, and that's exactly what I feel. Yes, you may be with these groups, you may be with these people, you may be with your therapist, but if you're not getting solutions, there's no therapy. What are you doing, and why are you doing it? If I'm only giving you ideas and things to think about that allow you to recognize more triggers, I think that's almost worse. I would consider, well, I knew this made me feel some kind of way. Now every day I wake up, I find something else, or I'm recognizing this in all these spaces, and I still have no answers outside of this triggers me, that triggers me, this is a trigger, that is a trigger. So I think, no, it's even, I think I know if I was triggered and I was triggered once and now I done discovered 90 more triggers, I would be on eggshells and 90 all the time.
That part.
It's like, where are the solutions? And that's what I love about actual connectiveness within spirituality, specifically within the African diaspora. There are at least answers for you to then build on or work on or heal. But don't get confused in thinking that there's a spiritual solution to your mundane problems. For example, you can light a Vinimore candle to bring love into your life, to get married. That does not mean that you're going to have a prosperous marriage. If you don't know how to communicate, that's where you're going to have to get into identifying the source of that. Not going, okay, well, when you say this, I shut down. When you do this, I shut down. When you look this way, I shut down. Why are we shutting down? Where does that come from? Let us find it. And now, how can we work towards not shutting down in these spaces? We have zero solution. I got hooked by a spiritual guru a couple of years ago who use people's trauma to fuel their business. They can't tell you anything to help you. And then that is a sting and stab into ethical spiritualists. You know, I'm going to tell somebody, hey, look, you come to me and I see these things. I'm reading your cards, I'm reading your bones. Baby, you have a mental, there's some mental challenges here. This is a mundane personal issue. I need for you to go talk to somebody. You gotta go talk to somebody. You can't put everything in these candles and oils and all. You need some help. Yes, I got some herbs that may help you sleep, but what's keeping you up at night is a whole lot deeper. And they're not hags and hanks. Okay, so you need something or someone, or you may need some stronger medication. But people want to use their magic as their medicine. And it's like you can't. That's not how that cookie crumbles. And it's super important to realize that. So I am interested. Is there anybody else that want to come on live, join the stage? If you do want to join the stage, I'll put this link again below, just to see, like, what your feelings and your thoughts are. I mean, I would have I said anything that you may feel that is insensitive? And if so, please educate me on your feelings and your thoughts so that I can at least sympathize with you, even if I don't empathize with you. And I will 100% respect what you have to say. May not accept it, but I will respect it because, you also have valuable things to share.
Queen, if I may,
Yes,
while
sure.
while we wait for more people to jump on, I do really appreciate you bringing up the topic of ethics and being ethical, because with a lot of people that, again, use certain terminologies, use certain jargon, um, for example, from therapy, from psychology, what they fail to realize that these things are very consensual. So you can't just show up in my DM and say, "Oh, you have some trauma you need to heal for." I did not consent that. So that was, I really do appreciate you bringing that up, because a lot of people fail to actually consent.
Mm-hmm. I tell you. So, I was maybe a month or so ago, I was talking about the girl here, one of the former madams that was unethical, very unethical. And it's funny that you bring that up because a woman at this yoga studio that she was going to and doing these moon circles and stuff came to our shop and was like, so she keeps coming up and telling me that I'm going through this, I'm going through that, I'm going through this, I'm going through that, and that she has the resources to help me. And that just goes up to the thing of, I didn't consent for you to step to, first and foremost, this is not the time or the space or place. You don't have a license to tell me nothing, to be honest. But more importantly, you I would think, again, I'm not going to say I'm neurotypical as they want to say, but I will say that if in my mind, I think if I had gone through traumatic issues and someone continued to bring those up, or even if they didn't know and they were just generalizing it, but essentially still preying on me, I think it would send someone over the edge. And again, and then you should be held accountable for whatever they do due to your predatory behavior, is the way I feel about it. A lot of spiritual gurus or whatever lack ethics. Yeah, because they're businesses now. That's what it is now. It's all about the business, about the money, point blank, period. Business and money. What can I sell you? You want to be a priest? Sure. What kind of priest you want? I have a couple in my pocket. And I think somebody just told me that somebody spent $30,000 for a title. 30,000 and can't do nothing, including light a candle, a birthday candle, a match. But anyways, apparently, no one has anything to say or to and to share. And I'll tell you though, because people be like, Queen, like I need work done. If I'm not in the mental space to do it, I won't even send you an invoice. You Queen, you were supposed to send me an invoice last week. I'm not ready. You don't want me to do your work right now, I promise you. And when I send it, then I am ready. But outside of that, you ain't getting it. I will wait a whole month until my mind is right. That's just how I am. And people are like, well, Queen, you ain't, because I know when I do my work, it works. Period. Period. So I'm not going to jeopardize my high success rate for my light bill. I'm an advanced skin therapist by trade. I can go coach and teach gymnastics like I did when I was younger. I can do any of those things to pay my light bill at any given point in time in my life. I own my own skincare and makeup line. Easily can do any of those things and be perfectly happy. Um, but I'm not going to jeopardize my family's name, the spiritual court, for anything. Hello, how are you?
I'm well. Peace, Queen. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. What would you like to share this evening?
Okay. I'm gonna try to keep everything short and sweet. Because ethics in the spiritual world and the spiritual work, it's such a very important thing nowadays, and a lot of people don't understand that. There's a lot of praying on those who are not aware, because there's a lot of people who are waking up, their ancestors are calling to them, but they may not know how to reach them, or they may feel like they don't need guidance. I know personally, me, a big part of my journey, I had to realize how to be confident in myself. My ancestors were like, we're here, but we need you to know that. And I don't want to go off tangent.
Oh no, you're fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and as far as when it comes to shadow work, I think, I don't know. I used to call the work, doing that deep inner work, working on and healing certain wounds, I would call it shadow work out of lack for a better term,
Hmm.
not knowing anything else to call it. But I think that's something that is constantly done, even if when we improve ourselves and get to a point where, we feel like we have arrived. Like, this is a ongoing journey. And I don't think a lot of people understand that when you choose to answer this calling, if you feel like you're getting, or for sure you are getting this calling, on this path of developing yourself spiritually, this is an ongoing journey. It does not stop. It's continuous. So you're always going to have points where you have to work on yourself, where you have to refine yourself. But I think a big part of it, as those who are called to, to help lead and help guide, ethically, it's really important to help instill, or remind people of to be confident in themselves. It's already there in you. You have to be confident in your own ori. Sometimes, and I'm not an initiate. I consider myself a root worker. Many women in my blood, both my mother and father side, were root workers, Obia women. But I do draw from all the, the ATRs as well. But I know in Ifa said that sometimes, even when it comes to the Orisha, like, you're supposed to listen to your Ori above anything, because your higher self already knows. And I know, me personally, the only time I've suffered is when I didn't listen. We don't need to worry about always constantly looking. We dealing in a world of the unseen. So you can't approach that from looking at things from face value. You have to know that when your gut tells you something, your intuition, you don't need physical proof to see it, to believe it. You need to trust that. So faith and confidence is a big part of that. So I hope I didn't go too far off tangent and go in
Oh
circles, but
no, no, no,
it's
you're
such a
fine. But
deep topic.
it's funny that you mentioned that, because those that entered this past weekend with the Work and Ritual Weekend,
Hmm.
from day one to day three, what was the goal? To make sure you leave here independent of your gifts.
Right.
I didn't give it to you. I can help facilitate a space where you can develop it, but that's
Right.
yours. I
Right.
gave some instruction. I said, don't do this. Some people said, I felt led over there. Did I do it wrong? I said, no, you were led over there. My instructions was very surface level. You were pulled in this direction to this spirit. That's where you were supposed to go, you
Right.
know? And so, but it takes, again, going back to that space of ethics, and also having mentors or guides that will say, you're good. You did the right thing, versus, no, this is how I do it. This is how I think it should be done. This is how I want you. You'll never get that from me. Cameron Dummon says, was she hiding? I'm at the working ritual weekend. Cameron was at the working ritual weekend. So, like, literally what you're saying is honestly my whole thing. And that's like why, no matter if you come into my space, my whole thing is, if I if I do not facilitate a space where you leave self-empowered, then I have not done my job. This is why my 10-minute readings go for 45 minutes. My 30-minute readings, go for an hour and a half because I'm like, you got to leave here knowing, you know, and it's those kind of things. I will also, though, just add to what some of the things that you said and to better assist people. Please, people, do not get confused with your spiritual journey versus your spiritual development versus your personal development. Your spiritual journey does not make you a good person. Okay? See, your spiritual journey gives you tools, resources. You may have gifts that can assist you and those in your family, region, of the world. Who knows? But those things are to assist you. But lighting a money candle will not make you a money manager. Lighting a money candle does not make you budget your money well. Because you have got initiated in something is not going to teach you how to um, be kind and sweet to your husband or to your wife if you're dealing with some stuff. This requires that mundane earth work. You need to learn to budget, save, invest. The cards can tell you, hey, look, you need to start being a little bit more careful with your money. It's your job then to be careful with your money. Don't go throw out no time and just say, oh, well, this is my money protection. But you steady got $900 worth of Amazon cards.
Yep, yep. And if I could add a little more to what you said, that is that sweet spot right there, because sometimes people enter into this path looking for that magic pill, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like, no, we're operating between two realms, but it is your job to keep that balance between two. Like you said, the spirit will give you the guidance, but you have quantum time, and then you have linear. Spirit will let you know all the quantum stuff, it dealing with spirit and developing yourself affords you that, but you still have to deal with the linear day-to-day things to
Mm-hmm.
get you where you want to be. Like you have to find a way to merge them together, to
Well,
find
as I
balance
always
and
tell people,
harmony between that. It's no magic pill. Like you're
it's
doing
the
work on
crossroads.
both ends.
You are a walking crossroads. And our grandparents said it best: prayer without work is dead. Prayer without work is dead. You
That's
can do
right.
the spiritual, that's your prayer. But it's that work that has to be done. And look, you can do the work with no guidance, which means you just running in circles. You have to have both. You can't
Mhm.
have a foot in one world. You have to have a foot in both worlds. And that is a huge, huge, huge part that a lot of individuals just don't get. But again, I understand that people like the fantasy. They like the Harry Potter hoodoo of it all, and all of those things. And so Ishay said, Dad. Yes, indeed. Prayer without work is in fact dead. Um, but no, that's wonderful. I thank you, Akasha. That's how you pronounce it. Super Akasha,
Yes.
Christophe, Zakia. I thank you all for joining me this evening. I look forward to seeing you
Thank
all tomorrow
you.
morning for the sunrise readings and other things and shenanigans we have going on. I do hope that you all share this video. I hope that this was insightful, thought provoking, um, to some capacity. That's my thing again. If you're going to spend 1 hour and 19 minutes in my space, you better leave here with something. Time is the only asset you have that you cannot regain. Don't waste it with me up here tap dancing on one foot, shenaning once and then shenan again. I mean, you don't want none of it. Like, I need for y'all to literally be able to leave here and listen, not hear me out, but listen and apply some of these things, not all of them. You can't do it all in one day. We don't live all in one day. You can't do it all in one day. One day at a time, one step at a time, little by little. And I also just want to comment this as well. Some of you all refuse to accept happiness in your life because you claim that you are not healed. Nobody is. But as long as you are healing, happiness, peace, understanding, and harmonious elements can absolutely be yours. Don't dismiss or reject a lover because you say, I haven't done my work. Are you doing your work? Because even when you meet them, you're going to still be doing work and they're going to still be doing work. Well, I can't make this move because I haven't done this. If you're doing the work, trust and believe me, you can have it. There's maturity and maturing in so many aspects of our lives. Um, and a lot of us, and you hear it all the time, if you don't heal, then you can't. If you don't heal, then you can't. If you don't heal, then you can't. You can scratch your leg up nice and good at the age of 3. The wound is covered, but that scar is still there. Hyperpigmentation kicked in and you still see it. It doesn't mean that you can't do something. No, it's there. Understand that you, in fact, can be bruised. Don't necessarily mean you're broken. I say this often, and I will say this until I know it has touched everyone as it needs to. Please, please, please give yourself grace. Give yourself an opportunity. Even in your healing from traumatic pain or building from a foundation, there will be moments upon moments, days upon days where you may slip, you may take a step back. Give yourself grace. The same grace you give that man that cheated on you. The same grace you gave that mother that was abusive because she's mama. How many of you are giving yourself that grace to grow, to mature, to evolve? If you cannot do that for yourself and to yourself, you cannot expect for the universe or your environment to nurture that to you and for you. Okay? So I want to leave you all with that this evening. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here this evening and sharing this space. I respect and honor all of you, Zakia, Akasha, and Christoph, for your energy, your time, and your efforts. Many blessings, everybody. Have a great one. I will see you all in the morning at 8:05. Merci. Au revoir.